have some nice ammo refills right here. I think I can destroy these statues, although I can't remember if they exactly yield anything, like some statues did in the first encounter, even though they weren't secrets. They're just kind of here for you to destroy if you really want to, but it's not really necessary. Now here we have a little series of more arrow traps, and you also want to be a little bit careful because there are two pumpkin heads in this area. There's this guy right here, just right around the corner. And the other guy is somewhere up ahead around this corridor. You really shouldn't be too concerned if these arrows actually hit you, I should note. Because they really do minimal damage, to be perfectly honest. Also, bounce that grenade right off of the wall, that takes care of that pumpkin head. And then we can enter this courtyard area. But first I'm going to destroy that biomech, and I think there's maybe one more if I walk forward, although he's probably in a bit of an odd location. Oh, there's that guy. Yeah, he looks pretty cute. He had to die, that's why. And then there's that biomech. And then we can look at this little flyover cutscene. There are a lot of flyover cutscenes in this level. Oh wow, I can't believe I forgot about this entirely. And also trees rendering at closer distances. That's very fancy. And here is where we get the minigun, but of course we picked up the minigun in the previous episode via secret, so this is really the second time we're getting a minigun, but it doesn't matter. Normally this would be the first time you'd get the minigun. Now, what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to start running this way, and you want to be sure to watch your back, because not only does it spawn a couple biomechs, but it also spawns a bunch of kamikazes, first of all, and it just spawns like a giant horde of them right here. You want to be careful that when you're fighting those kamikazes that they do not destroy this tree, because it is a sparkly tree. If you get rid of sparkles in everybody's lives, then people will live an unsparkly life, and those sparkles will not lead them to the secret yard of strange looking heads. And this is a pretty interesting secret. So the way this room works, if you remember like in the damn fish. If you remember in the first encounter, there was the Sacred Yards level, and in the Sacred Yards level, the level had this little gimmick in some areas where arachnoids would appear to be like midgets. They would be extremely tiny, but they would have the same health as normal arachnoids would. There's a lot of that going on in this place. Like, some enemies will appear larger than they normally would, and some enemies in turn appear smaller than they normally would. Generally, the more difficult enemies to defeat will appear smaller in this area. So what I like to do first is I like to kill all the fish in the pools. Now, you can destroy these fish, but once you walk forward in this area, then that spawns a bunch of giant clear skeletons, and that actually spawns more fish. So definitely want to be careful about that. So yeah, these guys pretty much just have the same health as normal enemies, normal clear skeletons would. You shouldn't have much to worry about in that case. Now, unfortunately, sometimes they like to get stuck in the pools, and that's a bit of a problem. And already, you can see that they've started spawning the midget enemies, who are carrying guns that are essentially larger than they are, which is kind of strange. Where's that other guy? Okay, I know there's... Alright, there's the reptiloid. There's also the reptiloids, too. They spawn kind of teeny tiny, itty bitty. That's not very good. You want to destroy them as soon as possible. It is a bit difficult to see some of the enemies in this area, so just make sure you use the sniper rifle. That's all I can say. Just be sure to have sniper rifle ammunition at hand, and you should basically survive. Just try to figure out where the enemies are shooting projectiles from. It's not usually too difficult, although with the arachnoids, it could prove to be a bit more challenging, to say the least. Alright. Now, definitely the best pool to get ammunition from is probably this one, because I'm still being shot by another arachnoid. I don't know where he is, but he is being a bastard. Come on. No. Oh, hang on. I see where the bolts are coming from. There he is. He's hiding behind the statue. That was so cute. But as I was saying, it would be better if you cleared out this pool because it has bullets, and God knows how valuable bullets are in this game, especially considering how quickly the minigun wastes ammunition. So I'm probably going to use it right here if there are more of those tiny, tiny arachnoids. But there's also Marsh-Hoppers! Oh my god, they're huge! And they also have the same amount of health, so you could really just take out the pistol and do this. But it is kind of cool how large they are, so that way they kind of bounce to some pretty ridiculous heights. So there's a couple of those that spawn. Some of them kind of lose their health due to falling damage, but that's only a minority of them. The rest of them are kind of smart in their bouncing tendencies, and they kind of know when not to damage themselves when doing that. Okay, I think there's two freaking little bastards right here. Alright, I'm going to very quickly fire this minigun in short bursts, so that way I can take care of these. What the? Hang on 1 second, what? Whoa, 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 what were you doing up on that building? So, I fired like one bullet at that Marsh-Hopper, then he slimed, and then I think that no, the guy's still. Oh, I see, I see. That's how the arachnid got up there. I forgot. Some enemies just like to end up on rooftops. There's no real reason for that. It's just, it happens. What else can I really say? And as such, if enemies end up there, then they can have better vantage points, especially if they're very small. Although thankfully, if you just step back far enough, you should be able to see where they are and dispatch of them very quickly. Now, there is one thing I can say about the statues in this area is I would advise you not destroy them, because look at the statue right here. Let me just go ahead and destroy this one. There's one of those behind every statue, and I think if you fire a charged no. In Serious Sam HD, if you fire a charged cannonball shot, then that will both destroy the statue and, in the likelihood, also kill the biomech that's hiding underneath with the following explosion. Although that like doesn't happen in the classic version, so just a bit of a forewarning. Now this area, you want to run away. You want to run away in some direction where a kamikaze won't be able to hit you, because they are extremely small as well. Like I said, like, the more difficult enemies of this game appear extremely small, the more not so difficult enemies appear very monstrous sized. And there's also fish, and those are kind of sort of ranging on the scale from not very threatening to just downright annoying, honestly. There's a bit of health back here. It's not a secret, but if you need it, then it's available. There's also armor in these pools where all the fish are. I kind of feel like just destroying the fish, to be perfectly honest, so that's what I'm going to do. Because I am a mean face, and I just like to kill fish. Actually, I would not do that in real life. I'm not that much of a monster, but when the fish are trying to kill me, then I think it's only fair that I try to kill them back. And at least, ow, be more successful at... Stop that. And here we have a second secret cannon if you need it. And a teleporting bubble! I love teleporting bubbles! Alright, so for the following area right here, if you walk up to this building, I believe... Huh. No, maybe it's... I think it might be if you pick up the minigun. Then there's just going to be like a giant endless wave of those Zorgs just running over that building over there, so you might want to be careful. I think it's triggered if I walk back here and pick this up. I know that at some point, here we go. Alright, I think it's after it spawns the biomechs, then that in turn triggers all of those Zorgs to start running out of the building. So you definitely want to be careful of that. And why on earth am I using the shotgun? I have a freaking Tommy gun for these guys, which would be so much easier to use if I weren't just doing really stupid things. And thankfully those guys don't know how to move, and as such, I can take care of them with regular old rockets. However, I am going to use the rifle right here because I believe they are going to quote a couple of arachnoids from the magic hat of enemy spawns, so I want to be a little bit careful. Okay, fine. I'll use the Tommy gun, I'll kill these guys. If that spawns some arachnoids, then I'll probably kill them off with the minigun. Or biomechs, I mean, that works as well. Ah, there we go, there we go. There's the guy. And I believe there's another fellow out in the distance who shouldn't hit you at all because he's dead already. The minigun is one of the best weapons in the game, even though it spends ammunition really quickly, which I'm still not a fan of. Which is probably another thing that makes Serious Sam HD better than the classics, but oh well. At least with the classics, I get a nice sense of nostalgia. As I said earlier, it's just sending out like these giant waves of the freaking Zorgs. I'm not sure how many more it has yet to spawn. Maybe it's done. Let's find out. I think they finished spawning them. So you run into this room, you pick up some ammunition, make yourself happy because ammunition is quite plentiful. And I believe walking behind this building, there's a set of secret cannonball ammunition. Yes, that happens to be a secret. Excellent! Excuse me while I take a drink, because I was beginning to run out of breath. It's been a slightly long day for me. And by slightly, I mean I worked for probably about half an hour just tearing a deck apart, and that was kind of nice. Yes, household outdoor maintenance. Going to be replacing that deck with something better because it's seriously awkwardly shaped. And that is the exciting story I have for you today. Is I was tearing a deck apart. Or doing some work on that, at least. I'm pretty sure that's all we have to accomplish right here. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and run back because I think I might have missed a power-up back there that might be worth picking up. I don't have much to talk about right now as I run around looking for a power-up. I do apologize. I wish I could commentate on things that are more not so related to the game, but I'm not very good at that. It looks like that was just a speed power-up, so now we can run forward to the next area, which is pretty much a giant corridor filled with enemies, which is a little bit difficult, but chances are you should be fine. So let's see what we have here. We must find our way through this yard. Smart usage of our artillery will aid us in this quest. Shoot to kill, kill to survive, survive to win 1 million bucks! Just kidding about the $1 million. I promise I'll stay serious next time. So, our smart usage of artillery tells me that we have to run this way and walk around the corner. Now what's interesting right here is that the enemies will sometimes be carrying items. Like you can see right here, this guy is carrying a cannon. He can't really fire it, but there are bulls later on that carry cannons on their backs, and yes, they can fire them. So you do want to be careful about that. Starting off right here, however, I'm just going to be taking care of these kamikazes using the pistols. That backpack over there, I will be picking that up eventually, but for now, I'm just going to be sticking to using the pistols. Now, I would have liked if I had saved a bit more ammunition, so I'm probably going to be using the cannon prematurely. Which, you know what, is perfectly fine, because it allows me to just chain large kills of enemies. I know what I'm saying today. Ah, screw it, I'll just use the Tommy gun. That's just as easy for taking care of these guys. And once all the bulls clump up together, just like in the first encounter, you can take out multitudes of them, and that is always satisfying in my honest opinion. Let's take the cannon out once more. Charge up the shot. I got flung over. That was kind of funny. When enemies do get in the way of the bulls, then chances are they will be flung around a little bit, and that's always entertaining. Now fret not about wasting all of your cannonball ammunition, because there is certainly more to be picked up due to the kamikazes dropping a lot of them. I'm just... What? Just... Hold on. I'm pretty sure a bull just went flying behind me. What on... Did anyone else just see that? That was so... Oh my god, that was amazing. I wish that would happen more often. Okay, things are getting a little bit hairy. I'm gonna stick to using explosives, and I'm probably gonna quick save the game, as I just continue to fire rockets on the chain, because that seems to be a good idea to me. It really is just skeletons for the time being, so chances are a lot of them will be hit with the splash damage, and that will in turn cause them to die a little more easily with— ow, that guy was right in my face. That was probably not the best idea I've had in a while. This is pretty much the way I love to do this battle, is that as soon as I run out of ammunition that I prefer to use on certain enemies, I just go to the next ammunition and just waste all of it. So yeah, now I'm down to the grenades. Let's just— grenades are good ways of spamming. It's a good way to use the grenade launcher, just spam a bunch of grenades. You can essentially just create this minefield in front of you, and that will cause a giant explosion to occur. It's good for large clumps of enemies, in my honest opinion. And you might want to try it out sometime, because like the rockets, it causes quite a lot of splash damage. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this ammo backpack, and start using the minigun to my full advantage. Kill that kamikaze. I'm not really sure why they mix kamikazes in with these clears. I think it's just kind of a way to maybe sort of throw you off, but at the same time, chances are you'll be using the same weapons that you use to kill clear skeletons as the same weapons you would use to kill kamikazes. It's— I don't know, there's really no point, but what do I know? I can't really get Crow Team to change it because they made this game quite a long time ago. That was like— was it 12 years ago, I think? It will be 12 years ago in due time. Right now it's sort of 11 and a certain amount years, if you really want to get technical, but it kind of was 12 years ago. And then they made the HD remake, which didn't change very much. I kind of didn't want to use the rocket launcher right there, because that little clear skeleton was getting uncomfortably close in my general vicinity. I need my breathing space! Boom! And that was all the enemies. Okay, so— alright, I'm really curious to see if that bolt actually went flying over the wall. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna— First of all, I need to damage myself enough so that way I can, like— oh. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Sometimes this level likes to teleport you back in, but yeah, it doesn't look like I'll be getting out anytime soon. That's very, very weird. I'm gonna go ahead and load my quick save.